Hey, what's going on, everybody? Um, I know I just sent out an email and posted a thing on Patreon talking about the new zine I just got done with, but I had a couple people that were asking me questions, and so I thought I would do a little video just to talk a little bit about Risograph project. First of all, the new zine is called Brand Names. I had the idea a while ago. It's just been in the back of my mind of words you hear that are brand names. So it's an educational zine. Talks about here I can list them. Kleenex, Frisbee, Chapstick, Dumpster, AstroTurf, Xerox, Ping Pong, Velcro, Rollerblades, Band-Aid, Popsicle. All of those are specific inventions or innovations that are actually brand name products. So I just think that's kind of interesting. I think language is interesting. So I found an artist friend to do the illustrations, and we were doing it, and then we were like, we should do a color cover, make it kind of cool. And then we started talking about Risograph, and then I found out about Risolana, which is a kind of just like a print studio here in Albuquerque. I'll put a link to their thing, but they're down in the South Valley, and they're very welcoming to people that want to print. And so I got to know them and talked with them and worked it out to go down there. And then we did a couple trial runs with a color cover, and we're like, we should just do like color on all the pages. So we went back and redid all the Sully did all the illustrations, and then we adjusted everything and got it done. So just to tell you a little bit and explain about the Risograph process. So I have a big stack of paper here. We printed 300 copies of the zine, and the way it works is you take the sheet of paper, and let's say, in my case, we're doing 2-color Risograph. So Risograph, and also I don't know if it's Risograph or Risograph, by the way. I say Risograph, but I hear people call it Riso and Riso. But anyway, it looks like a copy machine, and you put in a canister of like ink, but it doesn't work It kind of works like a copier, but not exactly. The internal process is different. Whereas a copy machine has toner, which is powder, and some are just black and white, and you can do black and white copies, and some have like 4 different canisters of toner powder inside a copy machine, and you do a color copy, it all goes through at once. A Risograph looks like a copy machine, but inside there's like a tank of it's like ink basically. And so let's say you want to print red, you put in the red canister. For mine, it's red and black, right? So we would put in a red canister, and then we would print just the red. So it would print just this, just this, just this. We print out 300 of those. Then you take out the red canister, you put in a black canister, and then now you print all the black over top of that. So I was printing on 11 by 17, which is twice as big as 8.5 by 11, right? So your standard copier paper, this is a sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11. So this is twice as big. And the reason to do that with a Risograph is because instead of this little part going through and then this little part going through, it all goes through at once. And basically you cut your amount of copies in half. So if that makes sense. Because then what you do later is you cut this in half, and now you have 2 sheets of paper. I hope that all makes sense. So print everything in the red, and then we print everything in the black. And then you do the other side, you print everything in the red, you print everything in the black. So for this one sheet of paper, went through the machine 4 times. And the zine has 2 sheets of paper. So this goes through four different times. This goes through 4 different times. So, you can do the math. It's like 1,200 copies being made to make it 300 copies of the zine. So get it all done, get it all through, got it like this. I then went through and numbered every single one. We wanted to get 300 copies of the zine, so we did 320 copies because there's always going to be parts that get messed up. So for example, when I got these back home and I was going through them and I'm putting them together, I found some like this. So this is where the red got printed on this side, but the black did not get printed. So that's what the Band-Aid looks like before you put the black color over it. So you do 320 to end up with 300 good copies, because this is probably just when it was going through the machine, it catches the paper and sends too many through at once and doesn't actually copy them. Risograph is not perfect. For example, you can see right here on this how like the red is like off, the registration is off, so it doesn't quite line up. Most people consider that part of the charm of Riso. If you do a copy machine, it's just going to nail it. But since you're taking the piece of paper and running it through and then putting it back and running it through again, sometimes it lines up really well and sometimes it doesn't. So here's 2 copies of the zine, right? You can see, if you look really careful, see how there's like that gap of white right there? That's because it didn't, and like over here, the red is overlapping. So that's because it didn't, like when the paper is going through, it just didn't line up perfectly. And then this one, it's like as perfect as you could get it. There's like not really any gaps of white. And so every single page, like this is like that, to get that little dab of red on the end of the chapstick, it's really hard to get that lined up, but that looks really, really good. But then on the inside with, I can't see it because the light is so much, but like the Kleenex, like that's a big gap. That's like too much, but that's part of the charm. So if you get a copy of this and it's off, if it's so bad that you hate it, let me know. I'll give you another copy. But for the most part, you just kind of have to accept that that's the charm of it. If you get one like those sheets of paper where it's like not even printed, definitely let me know and I'll send you another copy. But yeah, that's just a little bit about how Riso works. I've already mailed out like 35 copies, 40 copies of this today. We printed 300. Sully, my artist, Sully is going to take 100 copies, and I'm going to take 200 copies, and we're going to sell them and see how they do. So, yeah, that's all. That's how Riso works. If you have any questions, let me know. It's definitely a process that I'm going to be doing again, because I made a mistake while I was doing it. It was actually a really frustrating process for a little bit, but overall, it was a really it was really cool and I don't know, gratifying and satisfying, and felt good when you got it all done. And I love how the zine looks. I think it looks so much better than if I had just done black and white, and even better than if I had done color photocopies. So yeah, something neat and interesting and unique, and I'm going to be doing it again. So anyway, that's just a little bit about Riso. I hope everyone's doing well. Happy holidays. I probably won't make another video till the new year. So take care. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.